a rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but the beautiful.
Alfred, he said, we're not born animals. We are placed in animalistic places, so we adapt to that environment.
Yes,
What do you mean we're not animals?
we're not animals. We're human beings.
You're a mammal.
We're not considered animals?
No, we consider above animal because we have conscious. Animals don't have the conscious. That's what makes
Conscious
us
to do
different.
what?
That's what makes us different.
Just
That's the distinction
To
between
dis-
us and animal.
to discern.
But we do have animalistic behaviors
Okay.
and characteristics.
Okay.
But we are
we
deemed
possess
as
the
human.
genes
Yes.
necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can see some of the behaviors that we have are actually animalistic. So I know, but on the flip side of that, when the Europeans came over, they called us barbaric. They called the Native Americans barbaric when they was doing barbaric things.
They are. There's no period of time where Native Americans were ever considered being barbaric. It was the Europeans that said that they were savages, which took them out of the human state period. That's why they were able to slaughter, and no other reciprocation of that except for the few Native Americans the few African Americans are here. Most of them resided in South America.
Yeah.
But that travesty is one of the most general, if not the rights, the coming across the thing. They said that more black people died getting thrown into the river than the total number of Native Americans, and I believe they don't give us the right number of the tribes at that particular time. So I don't pay no attention to that. There's still humans that were identified by other species to relinquish them, not for any other reason than their own selfishness.
Well, and when I look at both Holocausts, because both of them had Holocaust, they both, one was snatched from their native land and brought over to a foreign land. Other one was taken from their land and put into reservation. So there's no difference between the atrocity. So I don't want to do the comparison of saying one would over more than the other. I believe that if we sit back and just think, that's why we have so much in common. We should look at the common denominator instead of looking at the division of it. And when we talk, we got to make sure we keep those common denominators together, because everybody understand. Even with Native America, they enslaved black. They had black slaves, but some Native tribes did not misuse them or mistreat them. Some did because they wanted to mimic the white counterparts, not because they truly believed in that. They did it because that's the only way they was going to be able to sustain and maintain inside of a society that they needed to fit into. You only had those who fought against those tribes and against their beliefs, and that was Standing Bear, that was Chief Red Cloud, that was Geronimo, and all them guys. They fought against those beliefs because they had visions, they had dreams and stuff that told them that they was going to. It was an atrocity to even accept their way of life. So they fought against it. But what I'm saying is that as us being people, when I look at blacks and Native American, I see us as the same. I don't see us no different. Life is life, death is death. No matter what numbers have came about, when I look at the numbers, I look at the circumstances of what both of them went through. They went through the same circumstances. There was nothing different than either one of them. Name the difference.
Annihilation.
Annihilation was annihilation. They annihilated us too.
No,
but they utilized us to do things.
There's numbers of resistance that they have that caused for a killing of few, but that became very uneconomical to them. So that's when they went in and started dealing with the tribes and having within the continent of Africa get slaves through different tribes themselves.
Okay, but you remember when Willie Lynch arrived at the banks of Charleston, and he said when he got there, it was a stench. And he said he looked up, he seen nothing but bodies hanging in trees. He shook his head and he said, this is bad economics. Now, you just said economics. He said that in his letters.
That's all there's ever been as it applies to their religion. It's been money. There's never been any humanity based upon anything. You know,
But I'm just saying, but when because I don't want to get into the who's right and who's wrong when it comes to natives and black, because
Oh, there's no conversation there. There's no
I'm not
conversation.
debunking what the Native Americans been through and atrocity, because I'm half Native, half black, and I don't want to debunk my black side because I know that they went through some trial, and I know when I read from story, I seen that men got raped, babies got killed, women was raped, women got they was used as examples or going through medical advancements on. They did the same thing with Mary. They took them to border schools and they took both sides, took the black kids and the native kids away from their homes and put them in board. So they went through the same. Ain't no other races that have ever went through that.
So jumping in with Alfred again, he says, we will always build to destroy, bro. It has been set up and embedded in our mind frame. We see unequal by skin pigmentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my brother. That's my brother. But I'm, and because I don't want to seem like we disagreeing, but we are agreeing on the same thing. I just want to make it clear, because when people listen and when they think when we saying one went through more than other, that can get misconstrued, and therefore then also this comparison. I don't want the comparison, because I want us to understand that let's unite because we both been through something.
That's good to try to have that, but that's not the American way. We have probably that's a part of freedom. Freedom is just another word for nothing else to do. We have so many different ways to absorb and categorize things that we can appear to be totally opposite.
So okay,
let me throw this out.
So you said Native American was murdered and they were annihilated. We're still being annihilated to this day. They just found the black woman killed and hung in a tree.
Every species that has existed, other than the Asiatic, and the only reason why they was the climate that they were in, and they got so bad that's when they dropped the bomb on them. Okay, to let them understand that we don't have no. You can go here, you can pull it outside there, but we'll wipe out the whole area to look. We'll kill off thousands to get to 2. So you don't mean that much. Okay. That's why we have to be very conscious of the relationship. I give the examples. When hair products, women's black hair products, of which 75% of our women do that. Spend, and the number of Asians and Spanish people that own the rights to geographical area to sell hair products is ludicrous.
Well, you got to remember, some of the women that they're getting the hair from, we got to do the math. We got to do the understanding of that. A lot of them women over there are in slave camps, and they're taking their hair and sending it over and packaging it and selling it. So you got to remember, them Asians and Vietnamese, those whatever Korean hair products they send over, the women wearing their hair are taken from slave girls, slave people, or in POWs or whatever, how you want to call them, whatever they are over there.
You won't find that their family situation is the same as ours.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
But then you don't.
I'm not saying.
Then you can't compare the economic standards.
No, but what I'm saying is that you have to give evil what you have to call evil out.
If
it's
evil,
still evil.
If that's all it is, but evil.
No, evil is evil, no matter what. We can look at it
all
from,
there is, but evil. Then it doesn't become evil anymore. It becomes the norm.
Yeah, I understand the norm, but
we in that norm.
So we in the norm too, but that doesn't stop that doesn't diminish evil.
That's because we keep adding to it.
That can't be our norm.
Not when the total economic basis is coming off of us. That's why I use that. I mean, that's the total economic base that we're lucky if we see 15% of.
Look what they can do to a big old giant horse. They can go over there, break it, and use it for their own pleasure. This animal can destroy them. He can destroy 10 men by itself.
Yeah, but that ain't the whole herd.
But all it does is it put a little small strap on it and able to control that thing.
Well, that ain't the whole herd.
No, but you got to think about it. if we can look at that and then look at how they're doing us, they got an invisible strap on us and we don't even know it.
That's only because we get off of television and they don't
No,
show
it's
you the
a
strap.
lot of it's just it's a lot of it's passed down generational talk because our elders taught us not to argue with the white man.
Right.
Our elders told us to walk on the other side of the street back in the
Right.
slave day.
Right.
When you see them come, cross the street
Right.
or do not look at that girl. So the elders passed down their DNA, passed down their traditions, passed down their way of life until the next generation. So when Edgar Hoover, Emmett Till, when he went to left Chicago and went to Mississippi, he you know he was in a whole totally different environment. Then went over to this environment, it was totally different. Even though he was pre-warned, but it still didn't register in a way because there's always evil lurking in the dark.
So you got two comments here. One is from Wells, who says, Mike, listen to the elder. And the other is Alfred saying, no, it's embedded.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We take
Well, Wells, let me address Wells.
Okay.
Well, Wells, he's native, so he's going to look at it from a native side. But I'm not going to agree with Wells on this one because I studied both sides of both sides, so I understand where he's coming from. But no, go read both of your books. Go back and read all your geographic understanding from the black brought over here from the Native American, and tell me the different atrocities that they have different, that's separate, and that doesn't correlate together, that they have witnessed and went through the same traumas. There's no way you're going to tell me that they have not witnessed and went through the same traumas. That is a fact.
Who?
Lavelle.
What?
Well.
Yeah, I know, but you talking about any tribe?
Yeah.
They all tribes went through the same thing.
No, you're talking about from the blacks and the natives.
Black and native.
He's native. He's half black, half native.
Yeah.
You know Wells.
Well, yeah, but what but there's two. The native people have a much stronger spiritual belief than we do.
They do. Okay. You know why? Because the one thing that I do understand by native, they understood the art of spirituality.
That's because they were one with the land.
They was with the land. They didn't have no books and stuff to talk.
Yeah, teach them. But nobody ever put them into any no massive slavery.
Yeah. And they didn't.
And they always grown their own and created their own.
And they never allowed the book to come in and to raise them as a people.
Right.
They always took on the natural state of humanity.
That's why they were annihilated.
Yes. And how they annihilated us by giving us the book.
No, they didn't annihilate us.
And gave us the book. They annihilated us.
No, they didn't. They programmed us.
No, they programmed and annihilated a lot too. They killed a lot of us.
Oh,
they fed us to alligators. They threw us over the shoots to sharks. They killed us. They killed us. They maimed us. They did a lot of things. Just because it doesn't look the same to you, but it's the same to me.
The natural balance of that would be that at this particular time and period, for us to advance to where we are now, doesn't show their gratitude as opposed to our resistance. All right, for us to have maintained this again, this is the part where the women piece is so strong.
So how many blacks you think died?
We have no account of how many died coming over here.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So how can you say one is over the other?
Outcome.
No, what outcome? You can't if you don't got no comparison.
Well, yeah.
You gotta have a number to have an outcome.
Yeah, we got significant numbers, particularly the Hughes. Okay. My melanin, I know, left 2 generations. My great grandmother was European. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now, then my father, who's melanin black, all right, married this again. I put this all in the Oklahoma area. Married a woman that was mixed.
Yeah.
Okay, which causes to be received and treated and developed and become whatever you're going to be. The foundation always carries the basic root of it. All right, we don't have to worry about how we are going to respond to whatever Europeans do if we have to return, because we at this particular time have even access to whatever technology they have. And other than that, there's never been any question as far as the intelligence levels. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're more accustomed, we are more comfortable in the lifestyle, even though it has its disadvantages, than we really should, particularly when the most key mechanism that would govern our existence are tremendously challenged right now.
Well, one of the things I want to say, I did read when I learned about the two difference is that with the blacks, even though during their uh, um, real harsh enslavement, they were still producing babies. When I was looking at the natives, they wasn't producing babies like they were when the blacks was coming over. So guess what was happening was, as fast as they was killing, as fast as they were still producing. That was the difference between the two tribals, even to this day. Why you can see that you say they're annihilated. They're not annihilated. They just quiet now. There's a lot of them, but you see, you know, there's a lot of functioning good tribes that are doing excellent, and there's a lot of tribes that aren't doing so well. It just ain't publicized because you don't see them as often as you. Because a lot of them don't. A lot of them, when you're looking at natives, you don't know which native is native.
Their annihilation was so severe that they felt almost blessed to take a plot of land and work it, and still have to give the owner 40 to 50% of the off brand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what reservations did.
Yeah.
All right. They
and plantations.
You do better as a people being totally annihilated than you do being enslaved.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, because you don't pass on generations of fear.
But guess what? What are we passing on now?
Ignorance.
Alfred said BIPOC will never be free in America, by America, and their own.
What won't?
BIPOC.
Explain that, brother. And that's all he had?
That's all he has.
B-I-T.
I thought I seen something like that.
B-I-P-O-C. He just said the same thing over and over. He said BIPOC will always be unfree in America, even when it comes to their own.
Yeah. But, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to talk semantics, and I don't want to say that, one is right over the other. But what I'm saying, that, I mean, this is one that, this is one of these.
All mine is written.
All these things, all these things are like, there's a lot of information that has been just, because if you go back and do your family history, how far back can you go?
To the time we started writing.
On to one of the blacks. Like every time I went to my grandpa, then I went to his father, then it's lost after that. Mm-hmm. I don't see nothing else after that.
Yeah. My grandparents were the first to read.
So that's a problem right there. That tells you that there has been they had to wipe a lot of stuff out, and there's a lot of stuff that happened.
They don't. Oh. They ain't got what they got to wipe out. They did before. What they got to wipe out? What do you think they could possibly be doing that they got to wipe out and ain't doing now?
Okay, wait a minute. Alfred said Black Indigenous People of Color, BIPOC.
Okay,
so that's what that is.
Yeah.
So now knowing what you said is Black Indigenous
most of the native tribes accept themselves in that context.
Yes, will always be unfree in America, even when it comes to being on their own. So now we understand. Yes, we agree with you.
Yes.
The only ones that don't worry about it in this country are the Asians, and they're beginning to.
Yeah, I see them. They're all getting drunk.
But that's because they came here controlled because of the atrocities this country did on their land in their country.
Yeah. Even the Sudanese and the Sudans and all that. You said they over here, they messed up.
It don't make no difference where you suffer. Yeah. You're gonna suffer, you might as well suffer somewhere peacefully. So they come to America supposed to stay in their own country suffering.
Yeah. But what time we got?
We're at 42.
Okay. Because I know they got a big thing function coming in at 5, so let's start wrapping it up. This is a good topic, I mean, I Elder, I love when you come because even though we've been disagreeing for the last couple.
We just look at it a little differently. That's all. But I'll give you that time, youngster.
hey, this is who I learned from. So, hey, sometimes the student got to challenge the teacher. You know what I mean? So it's just what it is. But it's out of love. It's out of love, honor, respect,
and development. It's good to develop.
Yeah.
Best lesson you can learn is what you're doing wrong.
Exactly. But so everybody give their final thoughts.
I always say what I say. To thine own self be true. Because whatever time comes, ain't nobody gonna have to deal with it but you. So if you can't take care of you, don't look nobody else to do it for you.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm all about togetherness. I think that with the shame and everything that we talked about today, if we can work together, if we can remember the past, learn from what we could have done better, with that past, take that into a plan for the future, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. I just want to say, shame is always bestowed upon us. It's just if we utilize it to gain a better understanding on whose we are as a people. If we want to come together and do better than our last generations did, then we have to go back and look at what the last generation's mistakes were. If togetherness was the mistake, then let it, because they said that within the problem is the solution. So in the problem is we lack togetherness, we lack control, we lack discipline. So what is the common denominator of solving the problem? Gain control, start disciplining ourselves. Let us control our communication. Let us do the things that we haven't been doing. So this is where change rolls in on the wheels of integrity. Because if we have integrity for the survival of our children, because the first thing we got to do, some of us is going to die, and we got to die to leave our children something. So if you got to die fighting, giving your children a better life than you did, that is selflessness. Don't be selfish. So we, us, and ours, love, life, loyalty, respect.
Thank you. You actually answered Alfred's last question. He was saying, what does that look like? So you actually went into what it looks like. That's good stuff.
A rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but the